Hi. As you can probably tell from my title, I sent my mother-in-law to Japan to buy me retro games. Okay, that's a lie. I couldn't afford to send her, but she was going anyway, so I said, whilst you're there, can you pick me up some games? She's freely admits she knows nothing about gaming, so I asked her to look for Nintendo, ideally Game Boy or Famicom games. I even showed her pictures of what the cartridges look like. I gave her a few pointers of what shops to look for. She just got back. Let's see what she bought. She was over in Japan visiting family in the Shizuoka prefecture, just southwest of Tokyo. I suggested to go look at places like Book Off and Hard Off, which are a chain of second-hand shops across Japan. They sell a variety of things, including retro games, for pretty much every gaming system, and they even sell the systems themselves. This is definitely high on the list of places I want to go when I visit Japan. So she's just been over to visit, she handed me this bag of games, way more than I thought I'd get. She's got the craziest bags she could find, so apologies for that. I'm going to go through now, first time I've ever seen them, and see what we got. I'm starting out my first Famicom game ever, and it's Dragon Quest. Amazing. Dragon Quest 4 for the Famicom, 100 yen from, I think, Hard Off. Dragon Quest obviously a really popular franchise still, so that's a great one to have. Although playing it's going to be difficult because it's an RPG, and I don't read Japanese. But definitely excited to find that out later and have a look. Next up we have Game Boy Color game Muscle Ranking from Book Off for 108 yen. I've never heard of this game. It's from Konami, so hopefully it's not going to be too bad. I'll pop it in, fire it up later. There we go. Next, another Famicom game. Soccer from Hard Off, I believe, for 100 yen. Hopefully I can play this one easy enough without speaking Japanese, because soccer should be a classic game. Mahjong for the Famicom, 108 yen. 8 yen better than soccer. Mahjong, classic game. Again, no need to speak Japanese to play. Book Off next, we have Pokemon trading card game for 108 yen. Classic Pokemon trading card game on Game Boy Color. And we have from Book Off for 250 yen. So way more than Pokemon trading card game. I don't know this game. It's second in its franchise because there's a big old 2 on it. That's all I can read. Luckily my wife. Animal Breeder 2. Again, even reading it, I don't know what it is. So excited to fire that up, see what it's like. Might be a bit like Pokemon, guess from the name. Or like some kind of Tamagotchi game. Kirby. Love Kirby. One of the first Game Boy games I ever had. Classic. So this is obviously where it all started. From Hard Off for 100 yen. It's just so cheap. That's pretty cool. Picross from Book Off for 108 yen. Classic puzzle game, Picross. Don't need to know too much Japanese to play that. And we have Kirby Tilt and Tumble. Amazing. The little translucent pink cartridge looks fantastic. 100 yen from Hard Off. This is, I think, probably one of the first accelerometer kind of based games, which is exciting. And looking forward to playing that. Another Kirby game. She's done well with the Kirby games, and it's Kirby Pinball. So this is another classic Kirby game. Can't beat Kirby Pinball because Kirby's amazing. 100 yen from Hard Off, and looks in a really good condition. Yeah. And we have Pokémon Silver for 300 yen. Looks in really good condition. Pokémon Silver, even, I mean, it's twice the price as most of the others, but it's still really cheap for a Pokemon game. And we have Dark Jewel Stories 2. I've never heard of it. I think it might be a Yu-Gi-Oh game for 108 yen from Book Off. It's... Oh, I'm looking forward to playing it later. I was reading. And finally we have a Game Boy Advance game. It is Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland, I think. It is Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland for 300 yen from Hard Off. Great game for the Game Boy Advance. Amazing Kirby selection. There must have been a kind of Kirby section that she went to. So I'm really excited by that. I can get rid of that naughty bag now. I'm going to go through these. I'm going to give them a clean before I put them in my Game Boy and Famicom. And give them a play. Show some footage. So here we have Mahjong, and unlike I said earlier, I have no idea how to play this game. The version I knew was essentially a tile matching game, and with this one being in Japanese, there is no hope I will ever be able to play it. This was released on the 27th of August 1983, and it's based on the Japanese variant of Mahjong called Reach Mahjong. The only interesting fact I do know about it was it's actually one of the in-game games in Animal Crossing on the GameCube. This was a Japanese exclusive, which in the other versions was replaced, appropriately enough, with soccer. Which brings us to... Soccer, released in Japan on the 9th of April 1985, is a fairly standard soccer game for the time. And it even comes with a half-time show. And luckily, it's completely playable without knowing any Japanese. Dragon Quest IV, on the other hand, you cannot play if you do not speak Japanese. Released on the 11th of February in 1990, it was known as Dragon Warrior outside of Japan, and was obviously the fourth instalment in the Dragon Quest series, which is obviously still going on today, with Dragon Quest XI being released in September 2019. Probably the most notable thing about this game is the ambitious attempt to put AI to control the party members. And this is a pretty impressive feat considering the memory restrictions of a Famicom game. Now moving on to the Game Boy games, we have Pokémon Trading Card Game, released in Japan on the 18th of December 1998, and a running theme of this video is another game we can't play unless you know Japanese. Which is also true of Pocket Monsters Gin, Pokémon Silver, as if you've ever played a Pokémon game, you'll know how much reading is involved. Silver was released alongside Gold on the 21st November 1999, although unplayable by me, it's a nice one to have on the shelf. Dark Jewel Stories 2 is a card battle game in the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise, released on the 8th of July 1999. Yu-Gi-Oh is still a massive franchise, being listed in the top 20 grossing media franchises of all time, with number 1 on that list actually being Pokémon. I never really got into Yu-Gi-Oh, but my wife's brothers used to be fans. And now Mario Picross. This is definitely the kind of game I was hoping for, a Nintendo published simple puzzle game that's perfectly suited for the Game Boy, that once you know the rules can be played in any language. Essentially using the numbers on the top and sides, you determine which block should stay and go to make up the image. I'll describe it probably like a cross between Sudoku, Crossword and Minesweeper. Released on the 14th of March 1995, it's definitely one I'll play again. Animal Breeder 2 is a game where you take care of an animal by feeding and playing with them. It's like a slightly more modern version of Tamagotchi, and it's often described as a cuter version of Monster Rancher. And it was released on the 15th of May 1998. If you have someone that actually reads Japanese and you can ask them every 5 minutes, what does this one say, then you might be able to play through it, but it's probably a miss for me. Kinniku Banzuke is everybody's favourite, a sports game, but what actually makes this one great is it's based on Ninja Warrior, and impressively so, it's incredibly accurate, as I can't seem to get past this bit on the first level. And lastly we have all the Kirby games, starting with the game that started it all, Kirby's Dream Land. Released in 1992 and developed by HAL Laboratories, it was created by Masahiro Sakurai, who also went on to create the hugely successful Super Smash Bros. Games. In this version it correctly depicts Kirby in his traditional pink, yet when released to the rest of the world we knew him as white, as Nintendo of America didn't think a pink lead character would work. Kirby's Pinball Land was actually the next Kirby game released on the Game Boy, and was released on the 27th of November 1993. Kirby fits so well as a pinball game, being that the title character is essentially a ball, and it really is a fun game to play that requires no reading. Kirby Tilt and Tumble is a game that I've always wanted in my collection, and it was released in Japan on the 23rd of August 2000. And typical with Nintendo, who like to innovate unique gameplay features, it was controlled via an accelerometer in the cartridge itself. It's certainly the first motion controlled Nintendo game that I know of, and if you know any others let us know in the comments. And to denote its unique ability, it was made to stand out in this translucent pink case. Although one aspect I didn't consider about this game before owning it appeared the first time I went to play it. I tend to play my Game Boy games these days on the Game Boy Advance SP, for many reasons, mostly the improved screen. So as you can imagine, the game was designed for the Game Boy Color, which has all its cartridges loading at the top. And the Game Boy Advance, well, they slide in at the bottom. So what does that matter? Well, it meant all the motion of the accelerometer was reversed, making it less of a fun game and more of a mind-bending IQ test. Finally, the newest of all the games, released on the 25th of October 2002, It's actually a remake of the NES Kirby's Adventure, which was released in 1993, actually in between Kirby's Dream Land and Kirby's Pinball Land, in some kind of amazing synchronicity. This game's definitely the one I've played most so far, and hopefully I'll get to complete it. I've always loved Kirby games, and Kirby Dream Land was one of the first games I ever owned, and I'm pretty sure it was the first I've ever completed. It was only a few months ago I actually got it back out and played through the whole thing again. Kirby's a great game series if you just want to sit down, de-stress and play through something. As I think it's fair to say it's generally not the most challenging of games, being it was designed to introduce people to gaming so anyone could just pick it up and play. Although a lot of these games I'll never have good enough Japanese to play, I'm over the moon to have these Japanese cartridges in my collection. I think my mother-in-law did a great job. Well, that's in case she was watching.